Of March 18th order, City of Utica Planning Board. Members of the Planning Board are myself, Joseph Burke, Joe Caruso, Tony Colon, who's not here, Regina Venatozzi, who's on, George Mitchell, we're waiting for, and anyone else here, Chris, that I may have missed?
No, just myself, Chris Lawrence.
Yourself, Chris Lawrence, planning staff, and staff attorney, Kate Hartnett. Okay, first case, PB case number 02-21, 600 State Street, applicant Phil Sabara, owner, GSBC LLC. Pursuant to the City of Utica zoning ordinances, the applicant is seeking site plan approval for a proposed project to be located at the aforementioned address.
How's that? Good evening, everyone. My name is Phil Sabara. I'm also joined here tonight. I'm the project architect. I'm with Bonacci Architects. I'm joined by Tim Bonaparte and Elizabeth Bogart with Appel Osborne, our landscape and site architects and engineers. I also believe Joe Gem is with us, and Joe is part of the ownership group. Just want to give you a brief history on the property for those of you who aren't all that familiar with it. The building that we're dealing with is referred to as Bill Number 2. It was part of a larger complex of mill buildings that were part of Utica Steam and Cotton, which was formed in the 1840s. The existing building is part of five structures that are connected, but originally it was a much larger complex that actually covered both sides of what is now the north-south arterial, but at one time was the Shenango Canal. And obviously that was a feeder canal for the Erie Canal, which helped in shipping of the textiles produced in these mills. The first mill building was built in between 1847 and 1850. Mill Number 2, which is the building we're currently looking at, was originally built between 1867 and 1871. It was originally a 4-story brick building with a mansard roof on it. Later on, fifth floor was added between 1891 and 1892. At that time, the adjacent L-shaped building just to the south of it was added at the same time, and it connected Mill 2 to the rest of the complex. Unfortunately, in the 1920s, Utica Steam and Cotton had committed to move to their textile industry down south. And as that went, so did, a lot of Utica's mills in this complex as well. In the 1940s, this building itself was vacated, and McCrory Solder Motor Company occupied the building. And in the late 1940s, I apologize, the showroom or the auto dealership was built in the existing glass, what they refer to as pavilion, on the corner of State and Columbia Street. Later on, Empire Kitchen and Bath occupied the space, and that was the last occupant of the
Hey, Phil,
Yes.
can I stop you for a second?
Certainly.
Brian, can you mute your mic? Looks like there's a lot of feedback coming through when Phil is talking. Brian, are you there?
Well, Chris is on Brian's.
Okay, maybe it's Chris. We just need that. You guys got.
Phil, if you'd like to go ahead.
Okay. All right, so just a brief overview of the project moving forward. It's an existing five-story structure now. Again, as I mentioned, it was originally a 4-story structure with a mansard roof. It's a rectangular, obviously shaped building of 95,000 square feet, 5 stories, constructed of brick and heavy timber. Our project is to take this old mill building and redevelop it. The intent is for the first floor to be commercial space, currently being marketed towards restaurants, cafes, and mercantile tenants. The second floor would be commercial, mostly being marketed towards professional offices and businesses. And then floors 3 through 5 would be completely residential, 48 loft-style apartments. There'd be 12 studio-sized apartments, 27 one-bedroom apartments, and 9 two-bedroom apartments.
So, can I ask you a question? How much square footage are you committing to retail and commercial space? Any idea? I mean, I know you said the first, second floors, but
Bill, this is Joe Gam. I can jump in real quick.
Okay, Joe.
So the second floor is going to be commercial office space, which is about 18,500. The first floor outside of tenant amenities is about roughly 14,000 square feet of commercial retail.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Joe. So that's just kind of an overview of, you know, the use of the building and the change of occupancy that's taken place. Obviously, you folks are probably concerned with exterior building improvements and what our plans are for the exterior of the building. The building is going to receive a brand new roof with black metal fascia. All of the window openings will be replaced with new black aluminum clad wood windows. All of those windows will be divided to match what was there originally. The upper floors are 12 over 12 divisions, and the lower ones would be 4 over 4. The canopy on the State Street side, Chris, if you could go to the State Street elevation. So
There we are.
right there at the corner of State and Columbia is the existing, what we're calling glass pavilion, which was the showroom.
The show for the car dealer then, right?
Correct. That is, all of the aluminum is going to be painted black to match the new windows. The fascia on that is going to be restored and painted, as well as the canopy to the south of that. All of the existing door openings are being replaced with new black aluminum and glass doors and storefronts. The existing canopy that's right there to the left of the screen on the screen is going to be extended all the way to the stair tower, thus creating a protected opening. We're going to be introducing an handicap accessible opening on that side because new elevating will actually be installed in that vertical tower on the east side.
Okay.
On the west side of the building, similarly, we're going to detail a new canopy that faces the parking lot. And that, again, will be the west entrance of the building and predominantly, I would imagine, the residential entrance because most of the parking would be out that way. Again, that would be detailed similar to the other one, to the existing one on the east side of the building. The footprint of this is actually the footprint of an existing boiler room that's dilapidated and going to be removed from the building. The first floor elevation, the elevation of the first floor is currently painted various colors around the building. We're gonna repaint it, one color all the way around. And it's gonna be a dark red that works with the existing brick masonry facade. The water table or the foundation around the bottom of the building, that's gonna be painted a black. And the only other exterior work that I can think of that's not site work would be the signage on the building. There's existing painted, old painted signage from the Sauter Motor Company that was on the building. In a similar fashion, we're proposing to paint the masonry with mill number 2 and the Utica steam and cotton and block lettering in those locations. Along with all of this proposed exterior work to the building, it has already gone to New York State SHPO, has been approved by them, and we're awaiting National Park Service to approve everything. With that being said, I'm going to pass this along to Liz Bogart and Tim Bonaparte to talk about some of the site work that's being done.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Liz. We'll be talking about site. Along State Street in the east lot of the building, site improvements include ADA parking, flush curbs, and flush walkways. Also, synthetic turf surface for dogs and vegetated green space. We'll get into that's the site, the layout here. Along Columbia Street in the west lot of the building, ADA parking, including a dumpster enclosure, synthetic turf surface for dogs, a larger swath of that, vegetated green space, and additional outdoor lighting to service the community room, garbage room, and main entrance for residents behind the dumpster. Design and materials chosen with respect to the original character of the property or surrounding properties. Ornamental metal fence, and we have these brick towers with concrete capstones, which this section should be showed in the next page. And that's what we have for site.
There's the dumpster enclosure. Okay. Does anybody have any questions to add to this? I've muted everybody's line, so let me know if you need to be unmuted if you can't, or just raise a hand.
Just one quick question. What amenities exist inside the building for the residents?
Hi, this is Joe Gem. So we have indoor storage space for our residents. We have a fitness center. You'll see in the bottom left, a community room that goes out to the outdoor patio with an outdoor grill space. Originally, we were considering a rooftop area, but we pulled that back to incorporate on-grade outdoor space for the residents.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Tony Colon. How's it going?
Good, Tony.
I just wondered what's going. We talk about mixed use, and certainly this is a prime area downtown. What are the rental or the accommodations for the studios 1 and 2? What are you thinking as far as the rent or however the remuneration for the rental? What are we talking about?
So our rent's going to start around $1,200 a month, all the way up to 2 bedrooms in around $2,000. We're trying to focus more on that studio 1-bedroom market, Tony, to accommodate the folks across the street at the new campus.
Right.
But at the same time, we want to be, market rate, but we're not looking to, go over $2,000 to start. It's at least what we have in our pro forma.
That's competitive. From what I know of the market, that for a studio, and certainly even up to 2,000 for a 2-bedroom. That's especially for the amenities that we're talking about here. It sounds very competitive, Sam. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone, this is George Mitchell. I'm sorry for being late today. My job got in the way, but this is a pretty big project here, right? And it's the first time that this board is looking at this and in detail. What are we looking to accomplish in today's meeting? What stage of the process are we in? It's a little unclear to me at this point.
We're looking for some kind of improvement.
I think we're here for site plan approval, I thought. Isn't it? Well, Chris could answer that, George, I think.
You're correct. We're here for site plan approval.
Okay.
Chris?
Yes.
George had a question. Go ahead, George.
Thank you. So Chris, are you on another line, Chris, or I'm not sure?
What's that? No, I just had to step away for a minute.
Okay.
What's the question?
Today, this is obviously a large project, right? And it's the first time we're looking at it in any detail. What are we hoping to accomplish in today's meeting?
Well, at today's meeting, Kate,
I'm sorry.
was that you?
Yes, it was.
You could jump in. It's fine.
Sorry. So today, it would be appropriate for the board to begin the seeker process
Okay.
because, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, this building is on the National Historic Register? Chris?
Yes.
Okay.
So since this building is on the National Historic Register, and because of the size of the project, it meets the criteria for a type 1 action under seeker.
Okay.
So today it would be appropriate for the board to declare itself lead agency for seeker purposes and declare this action and commence the coordinated review process.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Thank you.
And that coordinated review process would be with SHPO. It would be 239M review because of its proximity to the state DOT, state road, and because this is on the National Register. In addition, if there's any other funding sources that are working with this project, we would coordinate with them as well. So Joe, Phil, I don't know if there's any additional funding sources that we'd have to be in contact with. ESD.
Yeah, we do have a CFP.
Okay. Is there an application into UIDA or anything else of that nature?
Yes, we had already been approved with Jack and his.
Okay. So I'd say at this point, SHPO, Oneida County, 239, Empire State Development, and the Utica Industrial Development Agency would be who we would coordinate with.
Okay.
Hey, can you think of anybody else?
You might want to coordinate with DOT because the building's proximity. You might want to just check on the GIS and see about state streets. You might want to coordinate with DOT.
Sure.
They might be interested, if not involved.
It certainly wouldn't hurt. So with that, if anybody has any more questions, feel free to ask. If not, I would invite anybody to maybe make a motion to declare themselves the board lead agency.
Would any board member like to make a motion?
I'll make a
I'll
motion. Okay, and I'll second that.
Right.
Okay. All in favor?
Motion, who seconds?
Aye.
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 Who was the second?
Joe made the motion, Joe Cruz made the motion, George Mitchell made the second, is what I heard at least.
I'm still trying to find my unmute button. I apologize. I am aye.
So, okay, wonderful. And that is to declare the planning board lead agency and identify this as a type 1 action,
Yes.
Yes.
correct?
That is correct.
All right, with that, we will begin coordinated review with the agencies listed, and we will reconvene about this next month.
Excellent, thank you.
Best
Thank
of
you,
luck.
everyone.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, next case. PB case number 03-21, 1600 Burstone Road. Pursuant to the City of Utica zoning ordinance, the applicant is seeking site plan approval for a proposed project to be located at the aforementioned address. And who's here from the applicant? Anyone?
Yes, my name is Tim Bonaparte. I am the landscape architect, lead designer on the project representing Utica College. And we have two people from Utica College here, I believe, would be Matt Carr and Dan Bologna, who are in the facilities department, among other things, other hats they wear there. But so a little bit about the project. It's, if anybody's familiar with the site, it's an existing soccer field. Can you hear me okay? Because
Yes.
Yes.
I know Phil was a little just jumbled there for a little bit.
You're nice and
Yes.
clear, Tim.
Thank you.
And Tim, can I just ask, do you have I'm sorry, but I don't have an electronic copy of the site plan to show.
Yeah,
Would you be able to share your screen?
I can. Yeah, yeah. I emailed that to you, but I will share.
I
my
missed
screen
that in the
right now.
emails.
It's okay. Let me know if you guys can see that.
Yes.
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 Okay. So that's essentially it. This is Gaetano Field. The dome is to the top of this page. I don't know who. This is the existing baseball field. And this is where the track would end up going. So it's a full 8x8 lane outdoor running track with synthetic turf field on the inside. A small set of aluminum I-beam bleachers with a prefabricated press box that goes with that. Along with this would be scoreboard and sports lighting.
Tim, was that the scoreboard that you had the arrow on a couple seconds ago?
Yeah, it's here.
Right there. Okay.
Facing toward press box, obviously.
Good.
The college would continue to utilize their existing parking spaces, parking lots that they have for any events that they have here. Obviously, they currently have their own security forces to maintain that access to the facility, and then we would be modifying their existing campus pedestrian pathways to and from the track itself.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Chris?
Well, I would just like to say that, since the total disturbance here is, it's under 10 acres, that this would be an unlisted action, and that coordinated review is unnecessary as far as seeker goes. But since it is so close to the municipal boundary of the city of Utica, it would be subject to 239M review with Oneida County. So before making any other determinations or approvals, I would just make anything contingent satisfaction of 239 comments.
Okay.
Chris, well, everyone, so everything that's going on the Utica College campus, for what it's worth, my opinion is fantastic, right? I just like to know as this continues to build out, have we had any complaints or any issues with the surrounding neighbors along, I forget the streets there, but like Sophia Drive and those streets that are immediately border the property?
Not that I've been made aware of.
Everyone,
Anybody
I
else
have
have any
that.
questions?
Please, Chris, text me if there's.
If there's no other questions from the board, would anybody like to make a motion?
There's an awful lot of background noise. I didn't hear you, Chris.
There is, and I swear it's not my phone this time. Let me just go through and mute anyone. Let's see. Well, this is going to be difficult to make a motion. I apologize. I just muted Regina. If anybody would like to make a motion, please go ahead and do so. I would just, again, urge you to make sure that you specify that this is an unlisted, or that this is an unlisted action under seeker.
What's the guy
I'm sorry?
Chris, I'll set the motion. Just that there's a lot of noise in the background. I move that we accept this as an unlisted action on the seeker.
Okay.
And I second the motion.
And that's
All in favor? Aye. What, am I muted or what?
It looks like it's
no,
very
I can hear you.
difficult to hear what's going on.
No, I can hear you, Joe.
Okay.
That was me, Tony.
Or Tony, whoever it has, if they're muted, they're not muted. Would anybody like to make an additional motion to initiate 239M review?
I'll make
Yes,
that motion, Chris.
And I'll second that.
I thought you would.
All in favor? Aye.
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 And I'm sorry, who was the second?
That was me, Tony.
Okay, thank you, Tony. I do hope that we can meet soon.
Yeah.
Tim?
Oh, this is
Amen, brother.
This we will meet back next month after we've received comment from Oneida County 239 review. Again, initiated just because of the proximity to the municipal boundary, and then they can make a determination on whether or not to approve or deny this at the next meeting.
Chris, just correct me if I'm wrong, but this is either the third or fourth project that, while I'm sitting on the planning board, that's gone on at the Utica College, and we have not heard any complaints about any of the projects there.
Not that I've been aware of. If there had been any, they would probably go to the mayor's office. But I have not been made aware of
I work with a couple of families on Churchill in that area there, and they barely know that the college is there with all the construction and everything that's going on there. So, okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, Joe, would you like to read the next
Okay,
case?
yeah. PB case number 04-21, 106 Memorial Parkway. Pursuant to the City of Utica zoning ordinance, the applicant is seeking site plan approval for a proposed project to be located at the aforementioned address. The applicant, Elan Planning and Design.
Jer,
Yes,
are you there?
yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Would you like me to take the floor now?
Absolutely, you're on, Jer.
All right. Okay. Well, welcome all. I'm Jared Tadge. I'm with the CSR consulting team. I'm the project landscape architect representing ICANN, and we're here for seeker determination and for site plan review. The site, one of the items that's causing the seeker review is we're adjacent to a historic district. The project is located at the intersection of Memorial Drive and Holland Ave. Okay. Some site particulars. The site is 2 acres, 2.075 acres in size. And it was a site that was developed in 1969 and remained in use till present time. And the proposed use is a continuation of the facility as an office space, primarily an office space, with a small museum attachment in a form of a rotunda that addition would be on the south side of the building. The parking configured, we'll start at the edge of the property. The existing driveway entrances on Memorial and on Holland Ave would remain unchanged. The configuration of the overall parking and flow of parking would remain unchanged, with the exception of the project area immediately adjacent to the south facade. All right, the south facade. Rachel, are you able to use the cursor there?
Yes. Yep.
Or the south? The south facade is that area there with that area is currently occupied by there's an overhang portico there, and it's all paving. The overall site there's about of that 2 acres, about 1.5 of it is in either building or impervious surface, and the green space is about 0.5 acres. The ultimate build out of the site will actually result in a slight reduction of impervious area. Okay. And so there's our site there. All right. That's Memorial Drive to the top, and in Holland to the west. As I said, the existing driveway entrances will remain unchanged, as will the majority of the parking. The south facade, you can see the portico structure there. If we just hold that right there, that'd be great. Okay, that portico structure right there will be removed, and a vestibule will be installed with the intentions to build a rotunda type of structure that's approximately, combined with the vestibule, about 4,000 square feet. We currently have a building area that has 3 floors with a total of 32,000 gross square feet, 32,700. Our addition would add on multiple stories, would add a total of 4,300 square feet in the area of the existing portico. So not visible from Memorial. The building itself, the rotunda building addition, would stay below the top of that, would stay below the existing parapet elevation on the building. Okay, but the bulk of our work is occurring right in this area through here. We are utilizing the existing stormwater management system, which is a buried chamber system that's located beneath the large parking area there. Let's stay on this image if we can for a while.
Okay.
Would be great.
Absolutely.
So the stormwater detention area is, we're tying into the existing system, which appears to be functioning. We have had it scoped. It looks to be in very serviceable condition. The plan is to clean out any debris that currently exists in the conveyance pipes that would lead to that structure. Okay, can we circle where the chamber system is beneath the large parking area through there?
Oh, is there a specific sheet that would outline this?
I believe that would be
The grading and drainage.
Okay, this is a demolitions and removal plan. Okay, you can see the amount of asphalt that we're removing, going to rework that area, that large area to the south facade there. There's a rectangular square drawn to the left. That represents the buried chamber system that currently exists. Okay, and we're utilizing that for storm drainage. As I said, so majority of the paving is staying the same. We have a slight reduction in the overall impervious area. And respective of parking, there currently is, give or take, about 126, 125 spaces based on some striping. Okay, there's 125 spaces. Our proposed plan, since we're with the addition, can we, Rachel, is that you moving the drawing line? If we can just stay situated on this drawing, that would be great. Okay, let's stay right here, and we'll use this one to explain the project. It's very sufficient to do that. Okay, the existing parking count is 126 spaces. All right. We are proposing 104 spaces, which would be a reduction of parking along the south road property line that is adjacent to residential neighborhood. And then there's parking within the current portico area that's going to be removed, where the proposed vestibule and a rotunda addition would be installed. If you could point that area out, that would be great, Rachel. Right through there. Okay. All right. So I was saying the existing parking count is 126. We're proposing 104. This is in the UMU district. Okay. Urban use, a mixed use zone. And our requirement for parking is 2 spaces per 1,000. So with our total square footage, we would be required to have 74 spaces. We will ultimately have 104 spaces. Discussions with ICANN, the folks at ICANN indicate that the approximate employee count will be 70. Okay, so even with a reduction in the parking from what currently exists, we exceed the zoning requirement, and we are accommodating more than a one space per employee allotment. We will have visitors here. There is plans to have within that rotunda, is to have some museum type features for children, for families. We do have a bus drop off area that we're also proposing for the site. Okay, that Rachel, can you point out the bus loading area would be staging area is to the south.
So that would, Jerry, would they come off of Holland Ave?
This is Chris sharing the screen here. So the bus drop-off area on this plan is here?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Okay. It would be best if they came off of Holland Ave, because that sets up for a disembarking of passengers onto a proposed sidewalk area. Okay, and not into traffic. We do also have parking for 2 buses, temporary parking for buses on site, and that is in the area of the existing trash storage area that will also remain, the trash storage will also remain there. That is at the southeast corner of the site. So that's our trash storage, and that will also be 2 stalls for bus parking while they're on site. Okay. So that's our parking. The lighting, site lighting, always going to be a concern. There are currently 12 pole-mounted light fixtures on site. We are going to retain that number of pole-mounted lights. Although we are replacing the poles and the light fixtures, we will use more of a dark sky compliant light fixture that has downlighting. Okay, and it will be most likely an LED type light that will have be a higher efficient lighting. Okay. All right, so that 12 poles exist. 12 poles are what's are going to be proposed with an upgrade to the pole mounted lighting. All right. We do have 5 handicap designated spaces, parking spaces adjacent, as close as we can get to the building. Okay, so there's handicap access at the southwest corner of the building where there's a vestibule proposed. This plan represents the phase 1 development with just the vestibule, right? The rotunda would occupy that green space that's within that triangular area there. Okay. Even with the rotunda build out, we are still decreasing the amount of impervious surface. So it's all good. All right. The sign, the proposed sign for the ICANN facility would be in the location of the existing school sign up near the railroad trail, up and through that area there. And that sign would be in accordance with the city's sign ordinance. We're not proposing anything that would not be in conformance with that. All right. Let's see, what else can I tell you about the site? So, utilities right now. The site is serviced by the municipal water and sewer. We're going to be retaining those connections, although we will do new connections within the building for domestic water, and for domestic water in the building will be split for a sprinkler system and domestic service, and the outgoing sanitary would be split at the interior of the building, one for a sump pump system and the other for sanitary line, but tie into the existing areas, and those are at the northeast portion of the building, that area on Memorial Drive. Okay. We do have. There's currently on the east side. There's currently as you know, the building. The first floor is in a bit of a there's a bit of a moat. Use that term, not a gradient that hides from the surrounding area the first floor on the east side. There's currently 2 AC units there. Those are going to be replaced with 3 new structures. So once again, in their current location, they will not be visible from the surrounding area. And also in that area, we'll be doing a small emergency generator in that area too. So that's on the east side of the building, down at the first floor. So the earthen embankment there would shield that visually from the surrounding areas. Okay, so the primary access to the building will be on the south side, as we pointed out, and it's my understanding that the current entrance to the building on the north side, where there's on Memorial Drive, where there's the plaza area, that's going to be removed with a lawn area put back in there, replaced with lawn area, and that entrance would not become a entrance at this time. Okay. Bill, would you care to speak to Bill from CSRs? Would you care to speak anything to the building entrances?
Sure. Hi, everybody.
Code
I'm Bill
compliance.
Pennick. Yeah, I'm Bill Pennick. I'm the architect for CSR Architecture. I have some colored floor plans that could help you understand the building.
Wonderful.
If I can share my screen, if that helps.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. My screen shared. Everybody see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'll walk you through the plans of the building. So as Jared had mentioned, there are we're going about this project in 2 phases. So we have a 3-story building. For those familiar with the building, this was once a union office building for the longest time. And then the city of Utica took it over, did a lot of interior renovations, and used the building, I think, until 2010, I believe, and has been sitting vacant since. So what we're intending to do is to go in. We are going to renovate each floor. It's essentially a gut renovation. So what you're looking at here is the first floor of the building with the phase 1 addition. So everybody can see my screen here, or my cursor.
Bill, if I may add that Memorial Drive parallels the building on the bottom of the image.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
orange.
thanks, Chair. So the intent, or not the intent, but so like I was saying, we have a 2-phased approach here. And the first phase enables the second phase. So interior renovations will provide office space throughout the first floor of the building and a new entrance that comes in from the south side. There's a new elevator and new stairs that will provide vertical circulation and handicap accessibility throughout the building. A multi-use space for the community just off of that main entrance. And the rest of the spaces are office spaces for different types of office spaces for ICANN. There's an area you see crosshatched in the middle here. Those are the main toilet rooms that will serve the museum in the next phase. The second floor, as you see the elevator and the stairs continue up, is left vacant with the intent that this would be fitted out in the second phase. But building systems, envelope upgrades will all be done as part of this phase. Now, I'll clarify the envelope upgrades. We are not replacing the windows in this building. If you know the building well, you know there's a lot of windows. They're in very good shape. They're not in need of replacement now. We want to maintain the character of the building, and we've decided it was best to leave them in at this point. The third floor, which would continue to be office spaces, but these would be the main administrative offices for ICANN. So you can see the elevator brings you out into a reception area, as does the stair, and a receptionist would then let you in to the office suites throughout this floor. Now, what's to note about the third floor, and you can see them here, these little bump outs. The third floor, the building has a mansard roof, and so there are no windows. So we carved out these dormers to provide windows and natural light into the third floor spaces to make these much nicer. So when we look at this, so that's phase 1. That's kind of a summary of phase 1. Phase 2 would come in, and you'll see on the first floor we create this purple addition, which is known as the rotunda. So it's a circular wall that provides entrances from the west parking lot and the south and east parking lots, with the intention that the west entrance is the main entrance, of the building. This secondary entrance is more for those that are dropped off by the bus and a few people who may park on the east side. You can see there's no other work in the building. This has all been done. No changes need to be done, just the fit out of the main toilet rooms that serve this entry space. So on the first floor, this entry space is really truly that. It's the main spot you enter. It's a place where there's some seating, a climbing structure, and stairs that lead you up into the museum. When we go up to the second floor, you'll see that there's a balcony space within this rotunda space. So this is a two-story space. Looks down onto what we just saw below. And then you enter into the museum area. With it, we also fit out this area with some multi-purpose rooms and some offices for those and toilet rooms to serve the museum. The third floor does not change. Any questions on the floor plans?
Mr. Pennock, the third floor where you're making the bump out from the mansard roof for better lighting, how had that been used previously? Was that?
It was office space. It was office space.
And thank you. And what is the total square footage of the museum portion of the building?
Let me see. If I don't have it handy, I'll make sure. Yeah, I do. 7,130 square feet.
Plus whatever part of the rotunda relates to it then, right?
That's correct. Yes.
I have a couple of
two-story
questions.
rotunda
And
space.
that's, yep. And just to add it up quickly, we have 2570, 2350, or 2650, 2670, 2810. So say call it 2,000 square feet, 2,800 square feet.
Thank you.
This is Tony Nicolos.
Mhm.
First of all, I would like to declare that I am, through my wife, is contracted. We've contracted with ICANN as a provider of services. Wonderful organization that is doing a lot of good work in the community. So I just want to make sure that that's on the record. I do have, and just to recall that this actually was a City of Utica. It's a Board of Ed, the old Board of Ed meeting. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So just want to clarify that it was not the City of Utica, but actually the Board of Education. There's a fine line of demarcation between the city owning this property and this Board of Ed, I believe. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay.
And with respect to the building itself, and certainly in the two phases, one of the things that there's a shortage of in this community is a center for students, young men and women in the community to have a place for activities in foul weather. In other words, like similar to the situation we're going through now with COVID, obviously gathering in the small group or groups in general is probably not a good idea. But as time progresses, what are the plans for individuals outside of the employment of ICANN to use this facility for for meetings and or other types of activities besides the activities planned for the city, for the Children's Museum?
Okay. We have Steve Bulger, Chris Lamb, and Nick Lano from ICANN with us on the line. I'll let them answer that.
Sure.
Yes, I think they're still on the line.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There? Perfect. Okay, sorry about that. Little technical difficulties, but Tony, I appreciate that question, and that certainly is the case, and that was one of the intentions of this space, to have community space that is available and accessible on the first floor. So not only a location for the Children's Museum and ICANN workspace, but also an opportunity to partner with neighboring community-based organizations and the community in general to be able to use that flexible space that you see right there on the first floor in the multi-use space and sections below it.
Steve, are you planning on moving totally out of the Main Street location or maintaining that as well as growing into this area?
That's exactly right. So we will maintain our main headquarters here at 310 Main Street, but this building will allow us to continue to grow.
Exactly. Now, will there be any, due to its proximity to the zoo as well as the Parkway Center, any plans on making access to those two facilities easier from your location there on the Memorial Drive?
Yes, and that really was one of the most compelling reasons for this location, to really have that family-friendly corridor. So not only the zoo, Parkway Center, but certainly the new museum that Joe is familiar with. So all of those connected components along the Parkway working together with what will be some very good synergy. And we have had good conversations with those other organizations.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you.
This is Regina Venatozzi. I have a question. I saw your hours of operation are going to be Monday through Friday. How much utilization do you see by the community in those hours? You know, if you're operating 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, do you anticipate expanding your hours or looking at the weekend as well?
So those are our main hours of operation from ICANN. So the majority of our staff that are located there are doing a lot of home and community-based work, so they're in and out. So that's still to be determined, frankly, and depending on what those partnerships or relationships look like that do develop with some of those other organizations.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other building questions? I'm sorry.
Another question regarding, I know that there on occasion, there is a doctor on the premises for medical reviews. Is that going to take place in this building as well?
No, those services will remain at our 310 Main Street location.
I just want to, you asked about the building, any more questions there? I just want to make sure I'm clear. So the Memorial Parkway ingress and egress are going to be eliminated, correct? And they will be limited to only Holland Ave. Is that my understanding correct there?
For the actual entrance to the building, George?
Yes.
That is correct. Those doors exist now, but they're not utilized. They weren't utilized when the Board of Ed had the building. Mm-hmm. They had built a floor in that actually precludes the use of those doors. And the stairs that lead up to that platform, if you remember the building, there's a concrete platform.
Yes.
Have deteriorated. So we're doing some work in there just to make it safe. And we're switching out the, oh, sorry, I saw my screen change. I thought I did something. There you go.
Oh, no, I was just trying to get down to show them, what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you can see these stairs that come in from both sides. They're in dangerous condition, actually. So we're taking those off. The doors that you see that have blinds on them are the two centermost panels. They don't have hardware on them. And if you look very closely, you can see there's a white line sort of toward the bottom of those shades. That's actually the floor that's been built up against the glass. So, if one were to operate those doors, you would run right into like an 18-inch step, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So what we're proposing is to get rid of these steps, make them safe, and kind of clean up this platform, but its exact use hasn't been determined, and there may not be a use for it at this point.
Thank you.
And you will be going to Scenic and Historic for the
We do.
new windows.
Yeah, we propose, yeah, we meet with them on Monday.
Celeste Friend, are you still on?
I am, yes.
All right. Wondering if you have any comments, since I think this is part of your district.
It is. This is at the corner of South Utica, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to say something. I'm thrilled about this coming to South Utica, coming to the Parkway. It's a terrific project, not only in terms of its proximity to the Parkway Center, to the zoo, but then also to go on to Valley View, and if you continue west, you get all the way down to Murnane Field. It's going to create this enormous recreational district in Utica, much of which will be in South Utica, so it's terrific. And then just the one other thing I want to say is that ICANN has already proven themselves to be really excellent neighbors. They arranged, Steve Bulger and I arranged for them to have a meeting with neighbors way back at the beginning, and I really appreciated that sort of proactive talking to neighbors. That fence that's going to be along the southern edge of your boundary that is part of your drawings and of your description was at least in part a response to neighbors' concerns of the residences who live just behind the property. So I couldn't be more thrilled that this is coming to my ward, and the neighbors to the Children's Museum and to ICANN are looking forward to having them as neighbors. So thank you very much for providing me the opportunity to say that. Thank you.
So Les, thanks for that input, because I had those concerns, so I think you answered them. Were some of the neighbors off of Irving Place as well? They seem to be usually the most vocal in that region.
Yeah, we didn't, we made a big effort to pull people in, and the people on Irving Place did not come out to the meeting that ICANN and I arranged at the Parkway Center. It was much more the people on Greenwood Court,
Okay.
so which is directly behind.
Yes.
And of course, there were concerns about traffic. Right. Everybody has concerns about traffic. Irving Place, as people may be aware, is a one-way street with running from Holland up to Genesee, right? So they long ago sort of made it that you can't turn onto Irving from Genesee, which makes them a very nice little quiet street. I have not gotten any feedback from anybody on Irving that they have any concerns about this.
Okay.
And we made a great effort, I believe, I hope, to reach out to all of the neighbors in that area.
That crazy little one-way was a hallmark when I was in your position on the council, okay? So that's why I asked. They were very vocal then, and I'm surprised they didn't respond to this, because that's a concern of theirs, right?
Right,
okay.
Right.
All right, good.
Thank you.
And I would just like to say that this, due to its proximity to a historic district, would be considered to be an unlisted action, and that coordinated review will have to take place with SHPO. For those of you that don't know, the Parkway and Parks District is on the National Register of Historic Places. That includes the park with Memorial Parkway, Median, Roscoe Conkling Park, TR Proctor Park, and FT Proctor Park. So that's where the SHPO comes into place.
Hey, Chris,
so another thing that we can act on tonight as far as an approval, but we can get the ball rolling.
Sure. Chris, did our engineering department have any comments related to stormwater, anything related to this project along those lines?
They have not provided any comments yet.
Okay.
And these plans were given to the engineering department, the fire department, and the police department.
Good point. Okay.
So we may end up with some additional comments before the next meeting.
Good.
Got a question for anybody that knows. When the Board of Ed was in the building, how many employees were present on a daily basis when the Board of Ed building was in place, or the Board of Ed was located there?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that question either, Tony.
Okay. I just think there were more.
I know that it was the Board of Ed that expanded the parking. If you recall,
right.
there were hedges that bordered the Holland Ave side and wrapped around a little bit to the front on the Memorial Parkway side, and those were removed when the Board of Ed got in to expand the parking. So,
Correct.
you know, again, it was probably more than there are now proposed for ICANN, but as Bill explained, they're going to reduce that number and still have plenty of room for parking for visitors.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking that if there's, from the standpoint of numbers, the previous number of occupants versus what ICANN is planning, where what the stress would be placed on this property, both from infrastructure as well as services. So that's
a great question. But I think to that there were probably many more employees at the school district
I agree.
there are anticipated for this. I think you said 70 employees.
Yeah, so
I believe that was the number that was used.
With about 35 spaces for visitors.
Yes, but if I could clarify, with our staffing plan that we've updated as of recent, when we open, we plan for, right now, we have 48 that are slated. So that does allow for some considerable growth if we were to get to that point. So still allows for, we factor to those numbers if other visitors are coming to the ICANN offices.
Okay. Thank you.
Chris, may I ask a question? This is Jer.
Absolutely.
Can we do lead agency determination this evening?
Yes, and that's exactly what we're looking to do. So if anybody would, you know, if there's no other questions, if anybody would like to make a motion to declare the planning board as lead agency, identifying this as an unlisted action, that would be my recommendation.
I would move that the planning board become the lead agency and list this as an unlisted action with coordinated review by State Historic Preservation Office.
I'll second that.
Is that George?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain only because of the potential for conflict, so I'll just abstain on the vote. Okay?
Good idea. All right, with that,
Okay. Next case.
We'll coordinate the secret review, and we will meet back again next month.
Thank you, everyone, for your support.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for the
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, Chris.
Yep.
PD case number 05-21, 300 Catherine Street, applicant Limited Auto Sales, Inc., owner Custom Pack LLC. Pursuant to the City of Utica zoning ordinance, the applicant is seeking site plan approval for a proposed project to be located at the aforementioned address. Who's here from Limited Auto or Custom Pack? Anyone? Anyone on?
How you doing? This is Mike. I'm owner of Limited Auto. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a car dealership here for about 10 years and just looking to add a repair facility to the location. None of the building or site will be changed. So I don't have a ton of planning on it. Nothing inside the building will be changed either.
And this, I do not have the, let's see, try to get the attachment out there. So wait one moment, please. It's difficult when I'm not on my own computer. I apologize. Figure out how to turn this around. And I'm just going to share my screen for a minute, while we discuss this, just so that you have a general idea of, what we're talking about. For many of you, this might be known, the, what is it, the Mazda building?
Yeah, so it was the old
John
Mazda
Street in
building.
Elizabeth.
Correct.
Yep. Now you see the Clementi banner there. If you're looking, this would be the entrance. I'm going to bring up a Google map aerial just to help, detail this a little bit more. But this would be the entrance that you're looking at. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And then.
Yeah, Clementi
South Utica to
relocated down
downtown.
there.
So you said that you've had auto sales there for approximately 10 years now?
Yeah, 10, 11 years.
Okay. And I would imagine that because of the auto sales, there is, an auto repair, at a limited basis just on those vehicles that are being stored and or displayed?
Correct. Auto repair, as far as I think it would be more based off customers, rather than own vehicle repair. And some stuff I still send out. I don't do very extensive auto repair. It's very minimal.
Okay. And this is one of the first of its kind that we're reviewing, something of this nature. This is because of the new zoning code that was updated, that auto sales are permitted with the site plan, or auto use, including auto sales and auto repair, is permitted within this district, but it does require site plan approval. So this is very different from what we normally see because there's no change in the building footprint. There's no additional parking being added, or is there new signage at all?
The only sign would be a repair facility sign once approved by the state.
Okay. And that's because of its proximity to the 5S over here. So you've got quite the visibility from there. As you can see right now, it is currently limited auto sales. Do you anticipate an extra, any added traffic from this? Any added customer base?
No. Once Clementi came down here, we have a few more cars, but once the roundabout's finished, everything's gonna flow pretty nicely. Those are some old Google images of the building for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, not as much. There shouldn't be any additional traffic. Few here and there. Really, we're gonna stay just with the auto sales, and I just want to add the repair facility just to have it on my listings.
Chris, this is Regina. Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Oh, Mike, I have a question about your repair. I'm assuming you're not doing any kind of auto body work there?
No, we're not going for auto body.
Okay, so just general car repair. Where or how will you be disposing of any waste? Because I'm assuming like if you're doing oil changes as well on the vehicles?
Yes. So
How is that going to be handled?
that will all go to the recycling center, or an actual, I think, quick change that both places take them. I don't have any tanks in the ground. I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want to be responsible for any of that. So I'd rather just keep it in my certified containers and dispose of it quickly.
Okay, going along with that, will you be putting anything outside the building that would need to be enclosed?
As far as what?
Well, I don't know what kind of repairs you're doing, but any parts that would need to be disposed of from a car, a dumpster, I don't know if that exists currently.
Yes, we actually currently have a dumpster on site. And that gets picked up every week or other week. And otherwise, nothing else would go outside, no. Everything would maintain inside, no parts outside, nothing like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This is Tony Colon. As far as the oil, were you considering just storing oil on the premises?
Storing new oil?
Yes.
No, we will get it as we need it.
Now, will the repairs will they be for the public, or are they just for internal use and repairs of vehicles that you're selling? Or will you also be repairing or offering to repair vehicles from the community?
Yes, it will be offered to repair vehicles from the community.
Anyone have any other questions?
Will you be conducting any? Will you be conducting any alignments? Are you currently doing alignments on premises?
No, no alignment will be on premises.
Chris, I mean, given that the footprint of the building is not changing.
I'm sorry, we're getting a lot of feedback again here.
Right.
Let's mute everybody.
Can you hear me okay?
Who's trying to, George, is this you?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I can hear you.
I mean, given that the footprint of the building's not changing, there are no appendages or additions of any sort, does our engineering department have to review anything here?
No.
Okay.
Nope. They submitted a short form EAF along with the application.
Okay.
And given the size of this and the type of action, the building footprint isn't changing. So I would say that this is a type 2 action and that no further seeker inquiry is required. Again, just because of the size and the nature of the project. Like you said, nothing's really changing at all, except they're going to offer the repair. And as Regina asked, will they be storing any waste on site? It seems like they've, from the answer that no, we're going to keep it in our certified containers and haul it off over to, solid waste. It seems like that's already being done in standard practice.
Right.
So this is a pretty simple. Like I said, it's different because we've never reviewed cases like this in the past. Usually there is some sort of footprint that's being changed, an extreme change in use. This really has no impact whatsoever. So again, just as per the new zoning, it requires site plan approval. And if nobody sees any, concern, then I would recommend just, if you'd like to grant approval, I think that you could certainly do so. Just acknowledging that this is a type 2 action and that there's no further review required.
Chris, with its location close to, well, it's 5 there, right? Or 5S. Does it need to be referred over to the county?
If you'd like to do that, I think that would be appropriate. Again, just given its proximity, it's certainly within 500 feet of a state highway. Yeah.
Can I just butt in for a minute? Can I say something? Is that even necessary for a vote like this?
I hadn't.
I mean, there's more activity in the lot now than what he's going to be doing.
Any action by the board, if it does meet the requirements under general municipal law, it does need to be referred over to Oneida County.
And Regina certainly knows this to be the truth.
Yes.
She did that for a
For
number of years.
22 years at the county, I did that.
So
I wasn't going to blow up your spot there, but
can we, Regina, Chris, can we do that simultaneously? Can we give approval contingent upon the review?
if you're comfortable doing so, you can do that. Just knowing that you, Matt, this is to you, or Mike, I apologize.
Yes.
Just knowing that should they make that approval with contingency, you would not be able to begin the auto repair until we've informed you of the decision by Oneida County.
Okay.
Which seems like you still need some approvals for the signage from New York State DOT as well.
Yes, I can't move forward with the state paperwork until I have approval from the city.
So this shouldn't be too long of a holdup, anyways. Oneida County is pretty good about getting back to these things, and yeah, I think that if you'd like to make the contingency in the approval, that's up to you, Regina. I don't know how you feel about the thought of it.
Normally, we don't recommend that you give approvals with contingencies because there is a chance that something could go amok with that review. I don't know that that's going to happen here. This is a pretty basic review going over.
Right. Well, if anybody would like to make that motion, I would certainly urge you to do so.
Is the board okay with that approach? I don't want to make a motion that the board isn't comfortable with.
Go ahead, George. No, I'm good.
Well, you won't know until you ask the board and make the motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to give site plan approval contingent upon the county review or 239 review, okay?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed? Was that an aye for in favor or opposed?
For in favor.
Regina, that was in favor?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to verify. I apologize. Okay, so you've received approval contingent upon favorable 239 review, which I will contact you directly to let you know when they have gotten back to us with their findings.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very
Good
much.
luck.
Thanks.
Okay, there was that. I have nothing else on the agenda. Is there anything else that anybody would like to discuss?
Hey, Chris, can I just make a recommendation here? And I don't know if it's possible. If we know these things have to be referred over to the county, can we get them over to the county so that by the time we have our meeting, then we get their response back?
Yes, we can do that. It does not guarantee that we will have a response back. There is a greater chance of that happening now because we've got a, so before, with the previous zoning code, planning board generally did not require a public hearing like the zoning board does, and they have to have the meetings in the paper and publicly, noticed. I think it's a 14-day process. we used to just accept applications sometimes up until the week of the meeting. So typically we would allow for a 2-week, it would be due the second, 2 Fridays before the meeting. So there wasn't a lot of lead up time to the meeting that they would have time to review this. So we just made the assumption that we would have to wait until the next month anyways. Now, because we have the special use permits, which do require a public hearing and public notice, I've had to move back all of my deadlines. So the deadline for the April meeting is going to be March 26th. So that's March 26th for the April 16th or April 15th meeting. So now we have quite a bit of time, so that's a possibility that we would get the 239 request submitted and get an answer back before then. So yes, we could certainly do that. I know that was a
And the other
long-winded answer,
thing,
and I apologize.
No. And I get that. I know that deadlines kind of dictate when you get everything in and when you can really take a look at it and the whole process on your end. But I do know that municipalities over the years when I was with the county, if they needed something ASAP, all they have to do, all you got to do is put a little note, I think, in the comments section when you're doing that form online. And, you can ask for a quick review, like, especially this case we just heard, this last one. That's a quicker one for them to review. If you said to them, I need you to turn this around in 5 days and it's the hospital project, well, that's not happening. That's a little bit more involved, but I know we used to do it a lot for the city of Rome, town of Kirkland. I mean, because it's just the way deadlines fall, and we understood that.
Sure.
It's a good
This is why
suggestion.
you're a gem to have on the board, and you're a great addition for this. This is pretty helpful.
I agree.
Thank
Chris,
you.
any chance that in the future we can have some type of hybrid meeting set up so that if those of us that want to gather in person do, as well as offer those that want to stay video or on video, is there any consideration that we should give to that? Because I'm having a tough time. Actually, I'm having a tough time hearing the conversation sometimes. It's just so many people, so many folks. We can also offer, if it's a public hearing type situation, where we can offer folks to come online, and because during the police reform committee hearings, we would have the option of those that wanted to participate. They could do so via video, as well as any comments from the public or anyone on the outside that didn't want to make it into the meeting, into the building. So that's just something I think we should consider as well.
Tony, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's very difficult for me to even understand people at sometimes. Phil Sabara was a struggle today because of the back feed and whatnot. I could get the gist of what he was saying and I could hear him, but it was a struggle. So I will ask the mayor if there's a chance that we can resume in-person meetings. And even if we had to, I know that at the start of the pandemic, I think it was March, if those of you who are here remember, and even maybe, no, not April, but March, we had the applicants wait outside.
Yes.
And we would call them into the council chambers as we sat spread out around the table.
Mhm.
So I think maybe that could even be possible, because it's just difficult to go over things. It's doable. We've certainly been able to do it, but it's just not the same.
Some of these project scopes are very involved.
Yes. And I'll see what the logistics would be if we were to have a hybrid meeting where everybody's not there, some people are online. I'd have to make sure that we had a laptop hooked up. There's a lot to it if we were going to go back into the council chambers. Right now I'm at Brian's desktop, so this kind of works out if I have to go to one screen versus another. But as far as doing this half in person, half out, I feel like it would be all or nothing. Just because before this, we didn't allow anybody to call in. to the planning board meeting, you know? So I think that I'd have to go through the mayor's office and through Corp Council just to see what the legality of some people being there in person, some people not, if you were on the phone, but I would like to get back to physical meetings as soon as we can. And again, depending on what the mayor says, when I pitch this, it could be as early as next month, or we continue to hold off, but I'll let them know. And I appreciate the comment.
And Chris, I don't know if there's any limitations here that you're up against. But you know, something like the limited auto project, and that's something we certainly could talk about on the day of the meeting, right? At the meeting. Some of these other projects, I would love to have some lead time to look at the project and understand it, maybe form some questions, understand what the steps should be in our meeting. So we're not, I feel like I sound a little dopey at the meeting, right? Because we're asking questions that, you know, that we should know answers to perhaps in some cases, right?
I don't think that you sound dopey, but that feeling is understandable. And I would like to get these full sets to everybody, you know, way in advance of the meeting. If I'm getting them 3 weeks before the meeting, there's no reason that everybody shouldn't have them. However, I've been struggling with, and you know, we could probably have this, you know, offline conversation too, but I've been working with the IT department to allow them to have them allow us to use file sharing systems so that I could share large files instead of having to send 10 emails and then bounce back from different people. Because George, I know in your case, when I tried to send them all today, yours bounced back because of the size limits. I don't know if that happened on every one of them, but the State Street one, for example, was pretty large.
Yeah.
So we actually had a meeting with a firm called Box. It's a Dropbox type of interface that's a subscription-based thing, but you know, IT has been open to that. So I'm trying my best to have that happen because it's a nightmare for me. I make sure to ask for all of these files in a digital format just so that we can send them, because before they would only send them to us in a physical. We'd have 6 copies of everything. It makes no sense in 2021 to not be able to share these.
Exactly. This is you add tough hearing. I'm looking at a 8-inch screen, and all the questions that we could probably answer should be answered before we meet. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here, and it's not a friendly environment right now. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I can understand the frustration of the last individual at Limited Auto Sales. Those are the kinds of things that I think we can with technology, especially with what's happened now over the last year. I think we should be able to do that.
Regina,
and I think that's why they're more to the idea.
I think the governor would be open to us. We're not going to be in violation of any open meetings laws. I know there's several other boards I sit on that are going in that hybrid direction already because of the same thing that we're going through here.
The governor's on his heels, so probably agree to anything right about now. But Regina, I do appreciate your comment on the 239, and you're absolutely correct. But I agree that this was simple enough, right? Where maybe the contingency was probably okay. Because I felt the frustration of Michael as well, so that's the only reason why I recommended it.
And that's actually why I brought up we get it over to the county before our meetings. And I think Kristen Campbell is the one doing the reviews now.
Okay, that's good to know as well, because for years it was Guy Sassaman.
Yeah, well, Guy retired.
It was just, it was like, well, who's doing it now? Who do we even address this to?
Last I knew was Kristen Campbell. And she was covering actually Oneida and Herkimer County. But you could probably give her a call or send her an email and just see, who's doing that. I will say, we always tried our best to get things out if someone really needed it. But, as soon as the application comes in, if you see it's going to need referral, bing, send it right over. And now that we have it, it's all electronic now, so it happens much quicker than it ever did before.
Absolutely.
If she gives you
we'll
a
add
hard
that to our-
time, you let me know.
Hey, I'm happy to hear that.
I have a question. First of all, who
Yep,
is,
Joe?
I see video streaming. Who is that?
I think that's I think that might be the oh my God, I know his name like I know my own.
Well, if they could identify
Um,
themselves, that would help.
Well, I believe this is for us. This is on YouTube. So, we are continuing to live stream until we call this meeting to a close.
I think we should close the meeting, huh, Chris?
I think so
That's a
too.
good idea.
If anybody else has any questions, please feel free to call me, email me, text me, and I will pass all of these suggestions on so that we have a much smoother, comfortable meeting the next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
So,
meeting to adjourn.
Motion to close.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye, aye.
Okay, board.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I see everyone.
Everyone.
Talk to you soon.